What is up, everybody? This your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Show, live on YouTube right now, live on the Facebook page, and live inside the Clubhouse. Today is a Friday recap, so I'm gonna talk about Kwame Brown. I'm gonna talk about some of these Kevin Samuels clones that's popping up on social media, and I'm gonna just talk about everything else under the sun on another episode of the Dre Mack Show.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast
All right, again, y'all. Welcome everybody who's popping in right now to the Dre Mack Show. Again, live on YouTube, live on the Facebook page. This will go to Speaker Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all of that. So just to kind of give you a heads up of what's going on today. You know, I'm live inside a Clubhouse. So at the end of my first segment, I am going to be taking questions and stuff like, well, actually at the end of the segment, I am going to be taking questions and comments from the people inside the Clubhouse because I'm inside a Clubhouse right now. First thing I want to actually talk about, Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown throwing fire at Stephen A. Smith, throwing fire at the Breakfast Club right now. Throwing fire at anybody who ever, you know what I'm saying, talk crazy on his name right now. You know what I mean? I mean, just throwing complete fire at this time. And what the crazy thing about the Kwame Brown situation is that Kwame Brown is actually right. If y'all don't know, go to Kwame Brown's YouTube channel. I don't want to actually bring it up because, like I said, I don't want to get any strikes from his channel or whatever. But Kwame Brown, I think I give you a synopsis. Kwame Brown was a number one draft pick, 17-year-old kid that came into the NBA that got drafted by the Washington Wizards. So Kwame Brown came into the league under the tutelage of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan basically ate this man alive. You know what I mean? Is a kid. You know what I'm saying? So he never kind of got the development to me that he needed. You know what I'm saying? Is as far as like that NBA career, taking it to the next level because you know, he was under Michael Jordan, and we all know if we've seen The Last Dance, what Michael Jordan does to people that's his teammates or whatever. But what Kwame Brown has said was absolutely true. He was saying that a lot of black men that's out here that's in the media are gatekeepers, and they are in the business of destroying black men, which is quite interesting because a lot of these sports shows that he was talking about, one of them was Cold Pizza with Skip Bayless. And with Stephen A. Smith was in the process of destroying, you know, black men, calling them garbage. And Stephen A. Smith, let's get it real with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has made his legacy by talking bad about athletes. You know what I'm saying? Talking bad about particular athletes, and then you know, like quite honestly, he made his living off of talking about Kwame Brown. I mean, no matter what this dude today played in the league and God knows how long, but when you're always talking about somebody who wasn't successful in the NBA, they always bring it back to Kwame Brown. So Kwame Brown kept it 100. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Matt Barnes, calling him Becky with the good hair, just talking about all the gatekeeping and stuff like that. Like he even said, you know, why don't you just invite me to the shows? You know what I'm saying? I invite you to the show. I know not how to cuss and all of that, but don't be talking for me. You know what I'm saying? And it does make a lot of sense because you were paying people like ESPN and stuff like that, pay these analysts for these opinion shows, because these opinion shows is what get a lot of views and get a lot of money. So Undisputed is the way that it is. That's why a lot of these other shows is the way that they are. You understand? Because they make a lot of money pretending to, you know what I'm saying, to have the best interest of sports. But it's an opinionated show, and they go hard on whoever. You know, prime example it is Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson, you know what I'm saying, when he went in the ring and fought Jake Paul, you know what I mean, or whatever dude's name is, and he got knocked out. What did we do on the next talk shows? Talked bad about him. You know what I'm saying? They talked bad about, you were supposed to do it for the culture and look at you. And black people, let's be real. Our main thing that we do to get away from our pain is joke on people. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do as black people. You know, when you were a kid, we always snapped on people and made jokes about them and stuff like that. In our culture, that's a form of camaraderie. That's just how the way we talk. If we joking with you, we cracking on you, we like you. You know what I'm saying? It's not even, 9 times out of 10, it ain't even mean spirited. It's just the way we are. But when you have the white, and what Kwame Brown is saying, when you have that white corporation on the back end of that paying you, you know what I'm saying, to make fun of black people or dog black people and all of that, then this is what you get. You get a lot of these guys who are making a lot of money talking about black men, destroying a lot of black men's lives. So Kwame Brown is talking for himself. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I can't get mad at Kwame Brown because you was calling me a bum and you was doing this and you was doing that. Obviously, you making money off my name. You know what I'm saying? You could call him a bum, you can call him this, but it's plenty of white athletes, you know what I'm saying, that have way worse careers than Kwame Brown. But Kwame Brown is the butt end of the joke. So what he's saying is, why do black men have to continue to be the butt end of the joke? And why are these same, you know what I'm saying, Negroes making money of me being the butt end of the joke? So he's going hard on people, and I applaud him for standing up for himself. You know what I mean? I applaud him for standing up. You know, he never said, hey, my career wasn't the greatest. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he came in and was Shaq, but he made it to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that a lot of these bums can't say. You know what I'm saying? And Stephen A. Smith and a lot of these dudes make money and never even progress or sniffed a training camp. You know what I'm saying? In the NBA. You know what I mean? And I know they're respective journalists and everybody has their opinion. And I get that. But the mere fact is that we're in the process of destroying black men's image. And that's what the media does. The media is actually taking clips of Kwame Brown now and posting it and saying, look at this dude. This dude is full of violence. Look how black men is acting. Look at this. He went hard at Jemele Hill because she put up just violence. Put up Kwame Brown and then put violence on top of that. So he's coming out like, yo, what you trying to tell me? That I'm just violent? You know what I mean? Wasn't you the same person who used your liberal platform for X, Y, and Z? And I'm sitting there like, damn, you know what? He's right. And I started my YouTube channel. I started my podcast 4 years ago so I could be able to address these particular issues and get to healing. But a lot of these people who actually make a lot of money, they get into this spectrum and then they make money off of talking about us as black people, and especially the rise of strong black women empowerment. They also turn around and talk bad about black men too. So let's not act like they don't. So Kwame Brown, I applaud you, brother. You made a lot of sense when you're talking about how these Negroes, and especially a lot of the male Negroes, take account of destroying black men. So brother, I salute you. Now let me get to the next recap. Let's talk about Kevin Samuels. Now, this is not the Kevin Samuels bash that you probably think it's going to be, because I respect a lot of things that Kevin Samuels do. But what has happened is that Kevin Samuels has hatched a whole lot of gremlins. And let me reiterate when I say this, he has hatched a whole lot of gremlins. Now, let me explain this. Now, right now, I'm live on Clubhouse. So shout out to everybody that's on Clubhouse. I'm going to just, say it by your Clubhouse name. Shout out to Kay, who was my moderator today. Shout out to Khadijah, Joshua, my man, Young Mike, Brand, and Monica that's on Clubhouse with me right now. And then hopefully we can get more people as these shows start to grow. But we have a lot of people because I'm on Clubhouse and I'm networking on Clubhouse and I go in and I'm meeting new people and stuff like that. But I'm going to clubs where people are taking Kevin Samuels material. And what I mean by that, they'll take what Kevin Samuels posts on his Instagram, like a topic on his Instagram, and then try to do it on Clubhouse like they're Kevin Samuels. They're taking the negative energy portion of what Kevin Samuels is doing and trying to make these clubhouses, and they are the ones who's diminishing the psyche of a lot of these women, because they come in with this dominant attitude, you know what I'm saying, and they're trying to be what Kevin Samuel is, which is funny because people forget, people call in the Kevin Samuel show, and what you have to understand, just like this podcast right now, number one, it's entertainment. Number two, the man is a salesman. So when you're selling, and especially when you're an image consultant, your job is to sell them on a self-image that best suits what their dollar amount is. And some of you Negroes, and yes, I'm talking about black men that go on Clubhouse and try to be Kevin Samuels, are not high dollar men. Let's keep it real. You don't work 60 hours a week. You know what I mean? You barely could clean yourself. You know what I mean? Y'all don't come in no suits and no ties and talk with intelligence and call these women ma'am. You know what I'm saying? Even if you disagree, you don't call them by their proper name. You'll turn around and cuss them out in the name of you trying to push dominance. And that makes me sick. And I'm gonna tell you why that makes me sick. It's because the mere fact that you think that just because Kevin Samuels could do it, that you can. You cannot do what Kevin Samuels does. Kevin Samuels does this because actually, as a trained salesman, there is certain things he has to sell people on. Yes, if you're asking for an astronomical type of man, you know what I mean, that makes $100,000 and something a year, you know what I mean? Okay, those men are looking for women who look like A, B, and C. There's nothing wrong with that. They call it into his show, and they're expressing these things. So he's telling them based on his experience that these is what these men like. You know, and then he starts to go into what the questions and having a conversation. Yes, you can take a lot of good things from Kevin Samuels, but a lot of you Negroes are taking a lot of bad things from Kevin Samuels. A lot of you Negroes is coming out and y'all trying to diminish women's spirits in a mean-hearted, spirited way. And those are Negroes that I don't like. And of course, I came in and did a show called Is Kevin Samuels Right? When we look at the numbers of African-American males and African-American females that are actually getting married at this time. Now, there is a large demographic of African-American males and females that have not been married in the United States. There's over 50% of our population in the African-American spectrum that has not been married. And there's 32% of men, 28% of women, or 29% of women. You could go look that up because I brought up the statistics on my show on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to that. But at the same time, I am also educating women and men on why it's so important that we look at or the way that we treat each other. Now, if I was to go on Clubhouse and try to be Kevin Samuels, what I'm doing is a disservice because I'm not doing what's properly should be done, and that's educating each other so we can get to a common ground. I see these Clubhouse groups and the guys go on and they ask these women questions, and then they turn around and cut them off and talk crazy to them. This is the things that even I fell a victim to that. So I'm not above reproach. But what I did was recognize what my folly was, thought about it, reinvented what I could say. Let me get a better perspective. Let's let these women talk. Let's let them get let's get it all out so we can be able to have a proper dialogue, so we can be able to understand each other. But if you're making these Clubhouse groups, and only thing that you can do is turn around and try to be somebody else, which a lot of you Negroes do. You get on here, you create a persona. You're not who you are, because if you were truly like that, you wouldn't have to go on the Clubhouse and fake that. You create these personas for social media. You think you're somebody because you're starting to get 1,000 or some odd people following you, and you're no better than some of the Negroes these women are seriously talking about that they're trying to get away from. We need to be able to get a better understanding of men and women. And it's not just I'm ranting on these men. The men that I'm talking about, you know them simps that I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. We need a better understanding that we can be able to understand men and women. Why? Because we need each other. I don't care if you gay, straight, or whatever. If we don't have proper dialogue, well, we get a complete and genuine understanding of each other. All we're doing is just diminishing the people that we're trying to save. Understand when I'm saying this. If we're not getting a proper understanding of each other, We are diminishing the unity that we're trying to have. And what do black people always say? Black people are not unified. I wish we were like other races. Other races do this, other races have that, and we're sitting up here diminishing each other because we want to be the next Kevin Samuels. We want to be the next Tommy Sotomayor. We want to be the next whoever next, instead of just being your goddamn self. This is what we need. We need the unity. Take what Kevin Samuels is saying. I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong. What I'm saying is that Negroes take that information, eat after midnight, and then turn into gremlins in the morning. And that's all I got to say about that. Now, I'm going to the comment section real quick so I can be able to read some of these. And Alex Chapman said, Kwame keeping it a buck. And I agree with you. Kwame Brown is keeping it 100. Because a lot of people don't understand that there are gatekeepers in Hollywood. When people like me are trying to get into a spectrum where we can get a larger audience, it's up to the people who actually have the bigger platforms to see if they like you. And if people don't like you, you ain't getting in. That has been a Hollywood stigma among black people since black people was allowed in Hollywood. And if they like you, you can get on. You can't be too controversial. You can't talk about white men doing what they do and calling them bust. But if you talk about brothers being bust, oh, you could be there. You could be that. That's okay. We need that. You see what I mean? So he's absolutely right when we're talking about that. Brandon Carter said, quit making excuses for this bum. He don't have a heart. I totally disagree with you on that, Brandon Carter. And this is the reason why I'm going to say this, though, B. When a man, see, the thing is that, first of all, a man's voice is rarely heard in that particular type of spectrum. So when a man expresses himself, the main thing we can't do is diminish who he is. First, he's first a man. He was an NBA basketball player, but number one, he was a man. And we have to learn how to respect man's thoughts. I'm sorry, we have to respect man's thoughts. If we can respect a woman's thoughts, we have to also, in that same breath, respect a man's thoughts. The reason why we have to respect a man's thoughts, because we have to understand what this man is going through. And he said, as a 17-year-old kid, I had people calling me a bum. I'm 17 years old, and you're making me the brunt end of the joke. So again, where is the protection for black men? Not just from our sisters, but from other black men. That's what I'm looking at. We have too many black men to be bootlegging and shoe shining to make sure that they get to a place where they can be able to make money. But at the same time, it's a detriment to the people that they're talking about. And I'm talking about a lot of these opinion shows. I give my opinion all the time. And I gave my opinion on Dr. Umar Johnson. And I was right about my opinion about Dr. Umar Johnson. Why was my opinion right? Let me tell you. Because not once has he built a school, even though I donated. He's talking about, I want your grants money, right? Now you want my grants money, and then you turn around and you're on camera at the casino spending what people donated to you, thinking you gonna hit the jackpot at the casino. Now you tell me who's the Mac. You tell me who's really in it for our people. See, that's what I'm talking about. When I give my criticism on particular type of things, that's because I have logic and thought of it, because as a black man, I most definitely have to have a certain level of intelligence and a thought process that make it make sense. So when I'm looking at Dr. Umar, who went against Kevin Samuels, calling him a simp and a beta male, then you turn around and you're asking people for their grits money, and then you turn around again and you go into a casino talking about, we gonna hit today, we gonna get this 1.2 million. Who are you and what type of hustle are you doing? I'm calling the BS out. That's what I'm doing. I'm calling you bullshit. Because you are making me feel bad because I'm not donating in the process of black boys. But if you cared about black boys enough, you wouldn't care if you was teaching black boys in the library. You will be making headway instead of going around asking people for money. That's when I give my corrective criticism. So when I'm listening to Kwame Brown, allow this brother to talk. It has nothing to do with his basketball career. It has to do with the man himself. And when black men feel like they don't have a voice, they'll create one. So that's why he went to YouTube. They don't want him on Undisputed. They don't want him on First Take because they know it's going to be real smoke. They don't want him on the Up in Smoke or whatever with Steven Jackson and old boy. They don't want him on there. Matt Barnes. They don't want him on there because it's going to be folk on site. That's what it is. But again, I'm gonna go to this. It says you make a living by giving your opinion. That's what people do. Okay. When do the opinion starts to let me rephrase this. And let me ask you a question. When do we take in consideration the man? When do we take that in consideration? Because the reason why I make my opinion about certain things is because I have logic and facts to back my opinion. Because it's rooted in that opinion. Facts is rooted in the opinion to come to a conclusion. So when we're talking about these particular type of guys, they make these shows and they give these guys a bunch of money. Skip Bayless just signed like a $32 million deal with Fox or something ridiculous like that, just to give his opinion. So when does the opinion turn into slander against the man himself? That's what I'm talking about. When we look at these particular type of things, when does the man himself, when does it become slander? And we always talking about uplifting black men. And I'm sorry, let's keep it real. Black men in this era are the most fragile black men of all times. I don't care what none of y'all say. Y'all are not cut from the same cloth as a lot of generations before us. Why do I say that? Because if it wasn't, the homicide rate would be a lot lower than what it is. If it was, we wouldn't have these fake, phony Kevin Samuels wannabes going out here talking about, on these clubhouse groups and these clubhouse things, talking to women the way that they do. You see what I mean? If it really was that, if they were cut from the same cloth as a lot of our ancestors was, we wouldn't be in the predicament that we are now, because we wouldn't be asking for a seat at the table. We would build our own chair and move their ass to the side. That's what we would have been doing. But no, we want to be in our feelings. And I'm not saying men don't have feelings, but you get so far in your feelings with constructive criticism, you turn around and pick up a gun and shoot somebody because you don't agree with their opinion. Instead of talking like a man, having a thought process as a man, and be able to have a solution as a man. That's why women are frustrated with a lot of you Negroes now, because you're so far in your feelings, you can't make a logical thought. And why can't you make a logical thought? Because you so caught up into what everybody is supposed to think about you instead of being an individual. That's why you create these personas. That's why you get on social media sites and try to become something that you're not. And then when somebody call you out on it, now you're in your feelings. Now you're talking about some pull up. Ain't this what Kwame Brown said? Now you want to get so butthurt about somebody calling you out on the BS because you're not man enough. That's why our black women are frustrated. That's why black women have to defend you, because you can't defend yourself. That's the problem. And if you can't defend yourself, how is black women supposed to feel about you defending them? That's why they asked, what a black man defending us? You can't defend yourself. And if you can't defend yourself, how are they supposed to feel secure? So I can't get mad about their frustration. They're supposed to be frustrated. They out there getting their degrees and stuff like that, and you're making excuses about what you can't do, about how the white man is on your neck. We're in a social media age right now. You can create anything you want to, black man. You just have to do it. You have to pick up your goddamn self and get on your grind and work instead of complaining. That's what you have to do. And I'm saying this in love because so many people make excuses. And it's time out for excuses. That's why Kwame Brown, like, what you coming for me for? You're making your money off of trying to destroy me instead of standing on your own 2 feet and talk about something constructive. That's what we're talking about. So this is a challenge to my brothers, especially a lot of you the younger brothers that's growing up right now. And I know that you grew up in a time of the crack epidemic. I know the type of environment that you grew up in. I understand that. But are you above your environment, or do you subject to your environment? Are you not conscious enough to think for yourself, to be above what you see in front of you, and be able to create something greater than you actually saw for yourself? That's the type of power that you have. And until you tap into that power, you walk in your destiny, none of these women are really going to defend you. They're going to start turning your back on you, black man, if you are not stepping up and stop making excuses and become the warrior that you are bred to be, that you should be. And I'm not talking about a warrior that goes and destroys. I'm talking about a warrior that goes and create for his society. And that's all I got to say about that. Now, I'm going to my panel that's on Clubhouse right now. If anybody on Clubhouse wants to speak, right now I'm giving them an opportunity to speak. Anybody on Clubhouse, what's going on, y'all? Oh, y'all can take yourself off of mute now. Y'all can talk.
What's good, Daniel? What up, nephew?
What's going on? What's going on? What do you have? Do y'all have anything as far as the recap of the week? Do y'all have any questions about that or any comments?
I don't have no questions, but I have comments. I think you said everything that needs to be said.
And I appreciate that, Kay. Yo, Mike.
Yo, what's up, nephew?
What's going on, man? What do you got opinions about the topics of the week?
I don't have any opinions on the topics, but I'll say this though: when you deliver what you deliver on your platform, and you always come through and you hit it with the facts, as well as you bringing up the statistics, which is a big deal and stuff like that. It makes people become more endowed on what you're doing. So I appreciate all that you are doing, which is educational, check the line, and informative. So I want to just continue to thank you for being a refreshing, thought-provoking individual that's trying to change the narrative. Catch that, people. Change the narrative for other people's stuff. So just thank you for that.
Appreciate it, Young Mike. Young Mike is in the house. Is my guy right there. Kay is in the house. Khadijah, Joshua, Brand, my homegirl Doris. Anybody have any comments or anything that you want to talk, anything that you want to say at this time?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
My man Joshua, what's going on, man?
That Kwame Brown situation is pretty sensitive, because it goes back to the conversation we had when we had that big panel about is black women listening to men's concerns.
Uh-huh.
And when we talk about the psyche of the man, especially a black man, and Kwame Brown is 1,000% correct, because they have systematically.
Josh, are you still there? Josh, I think something happened to Josh's mic. Anybody else? Y'all could be able to speak now until Josh comes back.
Oh my goodness. If you are on this platform on Clubhouse, I want you to go follow, Dre Mac Show on the YouTube. Watch it live as well as you listen, as well as subscribe to his channel. Leave comments, ask questions, give him suggestions for topics, because he is amazing. Oh my goodness.
I'm watching and looking right now.
Same.
That's what's up. Doris, I can't help but laugh at that. That's why my man Young Mike. Doris, what do you got to talk about? I know you in the house. What do you have to say? Doris. I think Doris is probably away from her mic. Khadijah, we haven't heard from you.
She's asleep.
Oh man.
I'm trying to do some things at once. I'm cooking and trying to listen. But I feel like what you're doing right now, I really enjoy, even though this is my second time being in your room, I really enjoy listening to your the conversation and your topic.
Appreciate it, Khadija. And go ahead and make me a plate while you're at it since you're cooking and everything. What you cook now? Now I'm curious. What you cooking?
I'm making tacos.
Uh-oh. Taco, man.
Me and you both, I'm literally cooking the same thing right now.
That's right, Yvette. Get in the kitchen, make the tacos. Pull it up, Yvette.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mike, I think we need to go and get some tacos.
Need some tacos, Joe to Joe.
All right. So Marcus Belton on YouTube. He was like, I didn't see the club notification. I do apologize to try to pick as many people as I possibly can to get on. And then my man Alex Chapman was putting in people that was more of a bust than Kwame Brown, which is Darkay Millick, Adam Morrison. Let me see. He's talking about stop pretending to be tough. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys do pretend to be tough. But this is just today's recap show. I just wanted to do a quick podcast. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you're liking and subscribing to this channel, making sure that you hit the bell notification so you don't miss another episode of the Dre Mack Show. I try to do this as much as possible right now because technically I got a little bit more free time and extended vacation. Now, I ain't fired. I'm just saying I got extended vacation. You know what I mean? But I want to be able to bring more topics. So if you do want to hear additional topics, go to, you can hit me up on Twitter at The Dre Mack Show. You can hit me up on Instagram at The Dre Mack Show. You can actually inbox me on the Facebook page and tell me what your topic is. Tell me what you want to talk about. And we'll talk about it on the show. Again, I appreciate y'all. Peace and shalom to everyone. I am out.
What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show.